For years, Adiz and Ifeoma were inseparable. From their university days in Lagos to their working lives in the city, they did everything together. People called them sisters from another mother. But deep inside Adiz, a quiet storm had been building. Ifeoma was always the one people looked at first, with her soft laugh, effortless beauty, and calm spirit. Even in their careers, it was Ifeoma who got promoted faster, got the better apartment in Lekki, and seemed to glide through life like the road was paved just for her. Adiz never said a word. She smiled. She laughed. She played the loyal friend. But jealousy had made her heart heavy. It wasn't that she hated Ifeoma. She just wished, so badly, that she could have the things Ifeoma had without trying so hard. On Ifeoma's birthday, Adiz walked into a small, quiet shop she'd never noticed before. It sat tucked between two buildings on a street she often passed in Victoria Island. The shopkeeper was an old woman with eyes that looked like they had seen centuries. "I'm looking for something special," Adiz said. "A gift for my best friend." The old woman didn't speak much. She simply reached into a velvet-lined box and brought out a necklace, thin gold chain, holding a small, blood-red stone that glowed faintly even in the dull light. "This one," the woman said in a whisper. "For the one you love most." It was perfect. Or maybe too perfect. Adiz paid and left without thinking twice. But when she got home that evening, something pulled her. A strange curiosity. She unclasped the necklace and held it up to her own neck. "Just to see," she murmured, laughing at herself. She put it on. The room darkened. For a second, it felt like the air shifted, like she had stepped into water. Her heart raced, but the moment passed quickly. The mirror showed nothing strange. Her reflection was the same, clear skin, neat braids, tired eyes from work, but nothing unusual. So she shrugged it off. She wrapped the necklace in a fancy box and gave it to Ifeoma the next day. But Ifeoma didn't wear it. Days turned into weeks. Adiz started to notice odd things. Children crying when they passed her on the street. A stray dog that growled and refused to let her walk by. Once, at a party in Ikoyi, someone looked at her and gasped. "What happened to your face?" they blurted, before quickly laughing it off, like it was a joke. Adiz laughed too, nervously. Nothing now. Maybe bad makeup. But in private, she checked the mirror. Nothing. Always the same face. Her own. Until one rainy Friday night. She had just gotten home from work, soaked and tired. The power was out, so the room was lit only by the orange glow from the traffic outside. She passed her hallway mirror and paused. There. For a split second, the reflection flickered. Not her. Something else. It was her body, her clothes, but the face staring back was twisted. Half human, half beast. Eyes too wide. Skin rough and gray in patches. Mouth slightly open, showing sharp, animal-like teeth. She screamed. The lights flickered back on. Her reflection was normal again. But her heart was racing. The next morning, she went to Ifeoma's place in a panic. But Ifeoma wasn't home. The security man said she had traveled. She said she needed to rest, go home to Enugu for a while, he said. Adiz nodded, feeling dizzy. She tried calling, but Ifeoma's line didn't go through. And that was when Adiz remembered. She had never removed the necklace. The one meant for Ifeoma. It was still around her neck. And her face, the one she could no longer trust in the mirror, was slowly changing. She called in sick from work the next week. Avoided friends. Wore scarves. But the transformation was becoming harder to hide. Not always visible to her own eyes, but in the way people reacted. A Danfo driver who refused to let her enter. A customer at the supermarket who dropped their basket and ran. She was becoming the beast everyone else could see, but she couldn't. Still, the worst part wasn't the transformation. It was the guilt. The necklace had been meant to harm Ifeoma. Maybe not kill her, but shame her, reduce her beauty, make her less perfect. Instead, Adiz had cursed herself. Now she had to find Ifeoma. Or the old woman. Or someone who could explain what was happening before it was too late. But Lagos was big. And the shop was no longer where she remembered it. The building was there, but the space in between was gone. As if the shop had never existed. She stood in the rain on the sidewalk, shivering, watching people cross the street, watching them stare at her and quickly look away. Adiz was alone. And her time was running out. Days bled into nights, and Adiz's world shrunk. Curtains closed, mirrors covered, phones switched off. The only light came from her laptop screen, where she scoured the internet for answers, folklore, curses, charms. She read about old Nigerian myths, about spirits hidden in city shadows, about enchanted objects that revealed a person's true self. But none of it told her what to do. None of it told her how to reverse what she had become. Her face had changed completely now. She saw it once, by accident, on her phone's front camera when it glitched. The beast was no longer hiding. Her eyes glowed faintly yellow in the dark. Her skin was cracked like dried mud, with thick ridges along her cheeks. Her lips had vanished, replaced by a stretched snarl that never quite closed. She could barely speak on the phone anymore. But still, no one could explain what she had become. Then, one night, her phone rang. It was Ifeoma. Adiz, her voice was quiet, almost fearful. I had a dream. You were crying. But your face was not your face. Adiz's throat tightened. She tried to respond, but her voice cracked and broke like dry leaves. She pressed the phone to her ear and whispered, "Help me." There was silence. Then Ifeoma said, "Come. Come to Enugu." Adiz didn't argue. She packed her bag at once. Wore a hoodie low over her face. Took the night bus. The other passengers avoided sitting beside her. Some whispered. One little girl pointed and said, "Mummy, that woman is a witch." Her mother slapped her arm, but she didn't correct her. The journey felt endless. But when she arrived in Enugu, Ifeoma was waiting at the terminal. She looked pale, thinner than before, but her eyes were steady. "Let's go," she said, without hugging her. Without smiling. They rode in silence to her family house, hidden in the hills outside the main town. Adiz had visited before, years ago. It was peaceful there, quiet. The wind always sounded like it was whispering something. Inside, Ifeoma's mother was waiting. A small woman, with eyes as sharp as blades. She didn't flinch when she saw Adiz's face. She didn't ask questions. She simply said, "You wore it, didn't you?" The necklace meant for another. Adiz collapsed to her knees. "I didn't know," she cried. "I just wanted. I didn't mean to." "But you meant harm," the woman said, calmly. "Even if you didn't know what the necklace was, your heart was not clean." Adiz nodded, ashamed. Ifeoma stood in the corner, silent. Watching. The old woman turned and opened a small wooden box. Inside were strange items, cowries, bones, dried leaves, a small gourd. "There is a way," she said. "But you must speak the truth." "I will," Adiz said. "Then start from the beginning," the woman said, "and don't lie. Not to me. Not to yourself. Not this time." Adiz took a deep breath, looked at Ifeoma, and began. "I hated you," she said softly. "Not because you did anything wrong. But because I always felt like I wasn't enough standing next to you. And the necklace, I thought it would humble you. I thought if you wore it, maybe I could finally shine too. But I put it on first. And now, I don't know what I am." Ifeoma's face remained unreadable. The old woman nodded. "You are what jealousy made you." She picked up a small knife and a white cloth. "There is still time. But time is not free." She motioned for Adiz to sit. And then the ritual began. The room fell into a deep silence as the old woman began chanting in a language Adiz didn't recognize. The air grew thick, like it was waiting. Ifeoma sat on the edge of a woven chair, arms folded, her eyes locked on Adiz but giving away nothing. The old woman dipped the small knife into a bowl of black liquid, then drew a line across Adiz's palm. The cut stung sharply, but the pain was nothing compared to the ache inside her chest. As her blood dripped onto the white cloth, the woman whispered words that twisted through the air like smoke. This is not about the necklace alone, the woman said. This is about the sickness inside you. The bitterness. Until you face it, the beast will remain. Adiz looked down at the blood staining the cloth. Her heart pounded. I don't want to be this thing. I don't want to be the kind of person who hurts the people she loves. The old woman's eyes flashed. Then prove it. She brought out the necklace, the same one, glowing faintly red even now. This was never meant for Ifeoma. It found its true owner. It revealed your true face. But it can be undone, only by sacrifice. Adiz flinched. What kind of sacrifice? The woman didn't answer at first. She turned to Ifeoma. It's not mine to say. Ifeoma stood slowly, walked over, and knelt beside Adiz. You hurt me, she said plainly. And not just with this charm. For years, you smiled at me with a mouth full of envy. You let your pain turn you into someone I don't recognize anymore. Adiz felt the tears sting her eyes. Her lips trembled. I was wrong. I didn't know how to stop feeling less. You don't fight that by trying to break others, Ifeoma said. You heal it. You tell the truth. You ask for forgiveness without expecting anything back. Adiz broke down. I'm sorry, Ifeoma. I truly am. I didn't deserve your kindness. I don't expect you to forgive me. I want to be human again. Ifeoma looked at her for a long time. Then, she reached out and touched Adiz's cheek. The necklace burned bright on Adiz's neck. She screamed as the light flared, blinding and hot, wrapping around her like fire. Her body convulsed. The beast within her roared, fighting, clinging. But the moment Ifeoma's hand rested on her skin, something cracked. There was silence. And when it cleared, Adiz lay gasping on the floor, the necklace charred and broken beside her. Her skin was damp with sweat, her breathing shallow. But her reflection in the glass window showed her own face again. Fragile. Human. The old woman stepped back. It is done. But Ifeoma remained choo. She stood, walked toward the doorway, and said, You are free now. But freedom doesn't mean we go back to how things were. Adiz nodded slowly. I understand. And with that, Ifeoma left the room. Adiz remained kneeling, staring at the broken necklace in the dust. She had her face back, but she had lost something else, something she could never buy, never steal, never cast a charm for. Trust. And she would have to live with that. Unless she found a new way to live. Days later, Adiz remained in Enugu, helping Ifeoma's mother with chores around the house, learning silence, patience, and stillness. Each morning, she washed her face and looked in the mirror, not out of vanity, but to remind herself of what she could have lost forever. Ifeoma kept her distance. They no longer shared laughter like before, no late-night chats over suya and malt. But she didn't push Adiz away either. There were small gestures, leaving extra food by the door, a folded wrapper when the nights got cold. Little signs that healing had begun, even if trust wasn't yet rebuilt. When it was finally time for Adiz to return to Lagos, she stood at the gate with her small bag, turned to Ifeoma and said, Thank you for saving me, even when I didn't deserve it. Ifeoma gave a tired but honest smile. Thank you for changing. They hugged, not tightly, not long, but enough. Adiz boarded the bus and looked back once. The sun was rising behind the hills, casting gold over the old compound. The wind whispered again, but this time, it sounded like peace. Moral lesson. Jealousy is a mask we wear that only hides us from ourselves. True beauty and peace come not from outshining others, but from healing within. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more tales like this and drop a comment. What lesson did you take from Adiz's journey?